Hey everybody, and welcome to the season finale of Bearcat Update. Today, I'll be updating you on how the seasons are looking for our fall sports. From cross-country running at the national championships to a sit-down with the men's basketball coach, we've got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. The men's cross-country team finished 11th out of 34 teams at the 2025 NCAA Division II Championships, scoring 380 points for the program's third-best national result. Aziz Muhammad led the Bearcats with a 13th place finish in 30 minutes and 12 seconds, earning All-America honors, while teammate Drew Atkins followed in 14th at 30 minutes and 15 seconds to claim his third career All-American award. On the women's side, at-large qualifier Olivia Baker placed 52nd in the 6K, closing out a strong individual showing. It was a standout day for Northwest, highlighted by 2 All-Americans and a top-tier performance on the national stage. The number 14 ranked Bearcats in football had their seasons come to an end with a 38-16 loss to the number 2 Harding Bisons in the opening round of the NCAA Division II playoffs. Harding struck early, scoring on its first 2 drives to build a 10-0 lead after 1 quarter and extending it to 24-10 by halftime. Northwest stayed in it with an explosive play, which would be a 75-yard touchdown burst from Quincy Torrey, and then a 66-yard scoring run by Tashawn Porter, who finished with 106 yards. Torrey added 116 yards on the ground, but Harding's relentless rushing attack proved too much, piling up touchdowns in each quarter and sealing the game with a 23-yard run by Andrew Miller. Despite the loss, Bearcat senior safety Shane Fredrickson delivered a historic performance, recording an NCAA Division II record 31 tackles, including 13 solo stops, to cap a remarkable defensive career. Despite the playoff exit, the Bearcats closed the season at 9-3, highlighted by an explosive rushing offense and a record-setting defense. For more season highlights, our crew member Jackson Phelps breaks down his favorite moments from this season.
Welcome back to another week of Bearcat Breakdown. I'm your host Jackson Phelps, and this week we'll be switching it up. As this is the last week of the season, I wanted to go back and look at some of my favorite games that I broke down this season. Starting with this year's homecoming matchup against Nebraska Kearney, where the Cats took down the Lopers 14-0. The standout player from that game was sophomore running back Tashawn Porter, where he rushed for 41 yards on 8 carries along with a rushing touchdown. It was their first shutout of the season, holding the Lopers to only 111 yards. Bearcat senior defensive lineman Niall Shutt was honored as the Don Black Award winner, given to the MVP of the Northwest homecoming game. My favorite game of the football season was the game against UCO, and the reason why was that this game had been circled on the calendar of many since the schedule release. The Bearcats were on a 3-game winning streak since losing to Minnesota State and had the momentum to go toe-to-toe with previous head coach Adam Dorrell. The Bearcats started the game with a 54-yard rushing touchdown from Chris Runkey. That momentum carried the Cats to a 38-16 win over the 15th ranked Broncos. Chris Runkey got my vote for the player of the game, where he threw for 194 yards and 2 passing scores, along with 58 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown. This was head coach John McMenamin's first ranked victory. After that win, Northwest stood at 4-1 and proceeded to rattle off 5 more wins until the last regular season game against Pitt State, where they fell 27-14 in Kansas City. Now, this team was predicted by the MIAA to finish 6th in the conference, but they exceeded expectations and finished the year 9-2, 8-1 in the MIAA, and a share of the MIAA championship. Man, who could have possibly predicted that?
9-2 record is where I see Coach McMenamin leading the Bearcats in his first year. That's been another version of Next Week in Bearcat Sports. I've been Jackson Phelps.
I guess we'll never know. Anyways, the future of this team looks very bright. That's been it for this season of Bearcat Breakdown. I've had such a fun time giving you guys a look into some of the matchups throughout this fall season. But don't worry, I'm not going anywhere, and look forward to seeing you guys next season. Just let it happen. One more time. All right, see you guys.
Thanks, Jackson. After a slow 1-3 start for the women's basketball team, the Bearcats have managed to excel in their last 3 matchups, bringing their record to 4-3. In their most recent game, the team dominated in a 70-44 home win over William Jewell, securing its 3rd straight victory and 5th consecutive at Bearcat Arena. The Bearcats forced 23 points off turnovers and held the Cardinals to a season-low 44 points. Bailey Birmingham and Andrea Loprieto led Northwest with 15 points each, while Kirsten Huck added 12 with 4 threes and Boston Wand grabbed 10 rebounds. Northwest established that tone early, leading 41-22 at halftime, and they outscored WJC 20-9 in the third quarter. The Bearcats will look to keep their momentum heading into their home matchup against Graceland. Now, to start the 2025 season for the men's basketball team, it has been outstanding so far under their second-year head coach Matt Keeley. The Bearcats finished last season 6-22, but are already off to a 6-2 start. On top of that, the Bearcats are 2-0 at home after an 0-10 home finish last year. Under the direction of Matt Keeley, a trio of seniors made of Aiden Gare, Matthew Mays, and Royce Williams have carried the team to a strong start. Most recently, the men's basketball team dismantled York College 97-59. The Bearcats controlled York all night, grabbing 53 rebounds, 13 forced turnovers, and 15 threes, while getting 44 bench points. They led 41-22 at halftime, and later in the second half, the Bearcats broke the game open with an 18-2 surge, capped by free throws from Trey Moala, a Matthew Mays dunk, and a fast break layup from Aiden Gare. Northwest now turns its attention to the start of MIAA play Tuesday at Missouri Western. For more on basketball, our crew member Gabe Porter talked with junior Osa Obasahan about his journey to Northwest and connection to a Bearcat legend.
Hi, my name is Osan Obasan. I'm from Antwerp, Belgium. I'm a transfer from University of Hawaii. I ended up here because I had connections with a former player, Trevor Hudgens, who played here, and we played together in France, and that's how we kind of got connected to Northwest.
Osa recalls his time playing with Hudgens, as well as his influence on him coming to Northwest and playing basketball.
Yeah, when I was playing in France for a year, I think he came in like mid-season. Like I think he was playing in the G League, and then he joined in mid-season. And just being around him, he was like an incredible player, and it was just very nice because he's a very down-to-earth guy. And then also learning from him, I was asking him for advice, seeing him play, guard him at practice. It was just a lot of knowledge that I took from him.
Hudgens had a successful career at Northwest, including multiple Outstanding Player of the Year awards, MIAA Player of the Year awards, as well as multiple conference championships. His success like this influenced players like Osa to become a part of a special program. Always in the start of like a season, you got to get used to the new guys, so there was definitely a period of adaptation. But other than that, it's, of course, Hawaii's big difference than the Midwest. It was nice, but I came here for a goal, and that was to play basketball with this new team, and that's what I'm here for. Coming from a career at Hawaii, Osa brings experience to the team not everyone has. With the team being made up of mostly transfers, it's new talent that hopes to propel this team forward in the season to come. With us having like a lot of transfers coming in, I think a lot of guys also know that we want to do like better than, like, for example, the previous year, and that we all have a goal to create a chemistry and be one of the best teams. That's definitely our goal, and to win games. So we're still finding our identity together, but I think everybody has like the same mindset that we want to win.
Thanks, Gabe. We're going to take our final break of the show. When we come back, our friends over on the Weekend Sports Report will talk more about their favorite moments from the football season. We'll be right back.
Here at Tower Yearbook, we are a dedicated staff of photographers, designers, copywriters, and practicum students.
Our staff is a student-led, student-run media outlet, producing a book with over 300 pages. Be sure to pop out at any of our portrait or distribution events.
So stay tuned to our social media to see what's up.
Like the old saying goes,
Out with the old, in with the new.
New Game Plus, your new place for everything video game
and tech related. With new wacky shenanigans
and new packs from your new crew.
So get ready, we're skipping the tutorial with this one.
So watch New Game Plus right here,
Tuesdays at noon on KNWT.
Welcome back to Weekend Sports Report. I'm Gabe Porter, with me Jackson Phelps. Let's get right into it. Cue the intro. You know, Jackson, we had quite the season. Football just wrapped up. Winter sports are starting to get underway. Taking me through kind of what the season looked like and how we did.
Yeah, this football season was so fun to be around. I mean, these guys had a lot of fun. I feel like that's a big thing whenever you have a first year and head coach John McMenamin winning the AFCA Coach of the Year, the MIAA Coach of the Year, leading these guys to a 9-3 record, 8-1 in conference play, and a co-share of the MIAA championship. I mean, a complete 180 from last year to this season. I mean, I cannot even, words cannot describe, what this team felt like. I mean, when they talk about that word energy and community, I feel like that backbone of this football program, not even on the field, just off the field as well, really, developed them into this team and, propelled them to be as good as they were this year.
Yeah, they started off kind of slow. They lost to Minnesota State, but then completely turned it around. I mean, winning against UCO, UCM, getting a huge win against Fort Hays State, all conference games. Kind of take me through those games and what they kind of look like.
I know beforehand we talked about our favorite games. UCO is my first one. UCO walked in as number 15th ranked in the country, and previous head coach Adam Dorrell walks into Maryville. It's going to be a big deal. This game was circled on the calendars of many. After losing to Minnesota State, a couple of big wins over Texas A&M, Kingsville, and Washburn. The next test was UCO, and the boys came out and did it 38-16. Really, all sides of the ball came to play. I mean, Chris Runke had a great day, rushing for a huge score, throwing for a couple scores as well. Everyone just looked more complete, and I feel like after that big win against UCM, and then that next week, like you talked about, Fort Hays, looking like the vintage Bearcats, winning 52-3. I mean, the guys really turned it up after that Minnesota State loss. They did.
They sure did, and there's a lot of guys, offensively, defensively, both sides of the ball, that are able to work their way around the field and work with everybody else. Sometimes you find a team who only works together under a certain amount of kids.
Right.
And then, you put the Bearcats out there and all of a sudden you're having 6 rushers a game, 2 different quarterbacks. Everybody can do everything on both sides of the ball.
They really can. I feel like that's what's so special about Northwest. I mean, throughout the season, you're bouncing around number 1 and number 2, offense and defense. Whenever you can do that on both sides of the ball, I mean, that's when you're going to win. If the numbers are showing it, usually numbers don't mean a lot, but for the Bearcats, I feel like this year from last year, their numbers completely took a different approach. I feel like, both, Coach Prosser, Coach Bostwick on the offensive and the defensive coordinator side, they've had great schemes, great formations, great plays all season long. They mixed up a lot of things from the last couple of years as well.
Yeah.
And it really, allowed guys like Chris Runke, Zechariah Owens, and more playmakers. Dom Myers, both a first and second team member for punt return and running back. He had himself a great season as well. But just allowing guys to get out there, make a play, and, just be able to rely on each other. And it was really fun to watch.
Yeah, well, another one of those guys we were talking about, Quincy Torrey, I mean, 806 yards on the season, 6 total touchdowns, averaging 7 yards a carry. I mean, he really was able to be a huge impact on the offense.
Yes, he was, and that's going to be our BCU Offensive Player of the Year for Mr. Quincy Torrey. Like you said, when you average 7 a carry, I mean, that's almost a first down. I mean, like we, Quincy Torrey is so agile. He is his ability to read a block and to get downfield and to not stop running. I mean, you're going to think you have him down, but those legs are going to keep on churning. So yeah, he's been a great one. And as we flip sides, Quincy is a very young guy, but on the defensive side, it's senior Carter Edwards who's going to be our BCU Defensive Player of the Year. This guy's really been the backbone of this whole entire team. He's the biggest voice on the sidelines, biggest voice throughout the week. 85 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 4 forced fumbles. I could go on and on about more stats, but this guy really was everywhere on that football field.
He's like a little fly, he's just all over the place. And when you have someone like that who's able to make plays all over the field, all sides of the ball, I mean, that's why he's our Defensive Player of the Year, and really just able to get things going for the Bearcats.
That's right. Congrats to those two. Congrats to the whole team. We're going to take a transition to my favorite segment here on the show, BCU's Plays of the Week, but rather BCU's Plays of the Year. My favorite 3 plays from this football season. Let's get it kicked off with play number 1. Here on play number 1, it's our offensive MVP, Quincy Torrey, doing what he does best, and that is getting in the end zone. So far, like right here, this is that game against UCO, number 15. I mean, they're driving throughout the game. This is just one of many touchdowns scored in this game. But Quincy, like we said, his ability to read the blocks downfield, I want to get a pause right here. When you look at the downfield motion, this is just a halfback inside drill. That offensive lineman is supposed to swing outside. And that's what Wes Merriman is doing right here. An all MIAA selection, doing what he does best over there by you, Gabe, is Reese Trammell. These guys, their job is to run outside with Quincy, push somebody, and that's going to separate them. And, I mean, as you see, open space. The ability to have that space. I mean, this offensive line this year, only 15 sacks through 12 games. They were the sole reason why this team rushed for over 3,000 yards and had over 200 averaged a game. You can't really talk about skill right here, even though, yes, Quincy possesses it, but I feel like it's all that offensive line as we watch this play out. It just completely opens up and allows Quincy to score there.
Yeah, you know, like you were talking about, that O-line just opening it up, finding the gaps, wide open spaces. That's all we're seeing. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next play. This one's going to be a run by Zechariah Owens. He finds the outside edge and whoop, right into the end zone. There he goes for another Bearcat touchdown. So let's take a quick pause right here. They're beautiful. So you've got Wes Merriam, you've got Reese Trammell over there creating blocks for Zechariah to go ahead and find his way from the pocket. So, you know, he starts over here, works his way outside, finds wide open grass out here, making his way outside, breaking off that outside edge right into the end zone.
Right there, and you see on this left side when we let that play out, Donovan Anderson as well. I mean, these blocks downfield, again, the Bearcats do a great job at getting in front of the defenders and allowing a big play, and this is another sole reason why that rushing attack is so good. Taking a look at play number 3 here on the year, this is a great defensive play by our defensive MVP, Mr. Carter Edwards. He's getting one of his 2 interceptions here. This is against Emporia State a little bit later in the season. This is a play-action play over the middle, and just the ability for Carter Edwards to just get up the field. It's just his ability to be on the field. I want to just take a pause right here, actually. I know you guys cannot see it. This is a really fast-moving play, but if you we'll let it play out here. But over here in the middle, where Carter Edwards are, there is a crossing route. It almost looks like he wants to go to this receiver right here. Again, he's just trying to just zip it by. It's a play action. His job is to try and draw Carter Edwards off here to make sure he goes with the running back so he can zip it over the middle. But come on now, don't throw a Carter Edwards way. He's going to get to that ball no matter what. So as we let this play out, we see that Carter Edwards jumps on it, and he gets a good return, too. He sets the offense up within the 5-yard line. Just another reason why, you know, this team is so special, both offense and defense.
Yeah, you know, he even faked out the cameraman, Tyler Stewart. Big shout out to him, you know, trying to get that play. Faked him out a little bit. Yeah, but Carter Edwards, just one of those guys who's really able to make a good read on the quarterback, good read on the ball, and make plays on the ball. That's what's important, and he's able to do just that. Man, you know, what a special year this has been for this football team. Well, this has been the Weekend Sports Report. Thank you so much for a great year. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Hayden is going to end out another season of Bearcat Update.
Hayden, I don't know how he expects us to do all of this by ourselves.
Mallory, we can do this. That's why Noah asked us to host. He knows we can do it.
I know. It's just there's like so much to do. And
Hey!
Hey!
I just have some last minute notes for you guys. I'll see you guys soon.
Hayden! Topics to cover?
Check.
People to interview?
Check.
Locations to visit?
Check.
And my trip to Hawaii?
That's not on my list.
I'm joking. Watch Staying Current Wednesdays at noon.
Welcome back to Bearcat Update. Earlier this week, our reporter Caden Simpson sat down with men's head basketball coach Matt Keeley in another Bearcat Update exclusive interview. As mentioned earlier, Keeley's in his second year as head coach at Northwest and has led the Bearcats to a 6-2 start on this season. Here's a sneak peek of that interview.
Good afternoon and welcome to the last Bearcat Update exclusive interview of the semester. Today I'm joined with men's basketball coach Matt Keeley. How are you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on today.
All right, and so you have coached at multiple programs, even helping build up one from scratch at Ottawa University. What aspects from those experiences are you most excited to use in your second year here at Northwest?
Yeah, it's as a lot of coaches, you know, as you get into the profession, usually it requires some moves to start with, but most recently here, having been out at Ottawa, Arizona, was a super unique experience starting a program that hadn't existed before. You know, I think while that isn't certainly the situation here at Northwest with a lot of great, you know, pride and tradition, there are some similarities that I can lean on just from, you know, having a new roster and that kind of being the deal in these days where there is a little more roster turnover than there was maybe 5 or 10 years ago. So trying to work on, you know, just as we bring new guys into the program, building relationships as quick as we can, putting a team together as quick as we can, and you know, urgency is certainly a part of that.
And Northwest has a championship culture. You know, they've had several basketball championships or football championships. What last year, in your first year, did you see that really like, you were like, this is the place to be?
Yeah, I think, you know, as an outside looking in, you know, you hear the story of you know, how special of a place Northwest is. I had previously, you know, coached as an assistant coach in the league, and you know, you see that, and you know, you see it on the floor, and culture wins, and the T-shirts, and all that stuff, and has certainly been a part of the men's basketball program. But you know, I feel like not just the athletic department, but just even the whole university takes great pride in that, and so. You know, it probably boils down to, you know, and we've used this tagline, you know, as we've gone into recruiting for not only this year's team, but just even the future is, you know, great people make great Bearcats. And I think that's what's been evident to me, you know, whether that's administration or professors or, you know, teachers or students, you know, it's just really fun to be on campus because you're surrounded by great people. And you know, that's something that we want to, you know, take the baton of and know that that's existed in the past and keep that true in the present, and you know, hand it on to the next crew too.
Thanks, Caden. That's all the time we have for today. I've been your host, Hayden LaValle, and this has been Season 77 of Bearcat Update, the provider of complete coverage of Northwest sports. When we come back in a few months, we'll be live every Sunday at 2, and you can find us on YouTube at KNWT TV. Along with Bearcat Update, you can watch KNWT's other content. So thank you all for watching, and we'll be back in no time.